Newswatch reporter Katrina Kopronica is there with the story.
This is the second week that parts of College Street have been closed, causing a bit of frustration for Athens drivers.
Now behind me is Cantner Hall, which houses the Ohio University School of Theater, but it's also the location of a sewage pipe that burst.
Athens Public Works Director Robert Healy says one of the challenges is the depth of the pipe, 16 feet below the bricks.
Way back in 1948, Sid Davis was a Navy guy and Joanne Wood was a sorority girl. They were brought together their freshman year at Ohio University. And after graduation, they went on to experience great success, but never lost touch with each other. This is the site where old Ewing Hall stood, where back in 1948, Joanne Wood and Sid Davis took journalism classes together.
Millfest was fairly quiet for a couple hours until a cop on foot and 3 on horses began chasing a male partier who broke into a dead run. In the end, the runner charged into a house and police lost him. But the chase made for some extra entertainment for partiers here.
There were a couple times cops actually rode past on horses and everybody cheered.
Beyond that, this year's Millfest was a tame event. And to keep things legal, homeowners use different tactics. Some advertise that you must be 18 to party, 21 to drink, while others enforced strict rules that partiers must stay within the yard, no standing on the sidewalk. It's not all bad, though. In fact, some found a way to make profit off the party.
And anybody else that bought wristbands, it was $5 beforehand and $10 the day of. So I think for the most part we actually made a little bit of money.
But where there is profit, there is some loss.
So nothing serious got stolen. A couple corn dogs got stolen from our freezer. As far as I know, that's it. I hope that's it.
Future News at Noon reporter Katrina Kopronica was at the game last night.
The Lancers put up a fight against their opponent, and that fight is what they're proud of.
We're pretty close to having a turning point in the season.
The game started off to a rocky start for Fed Hawk. They started the game with a 4-run deficit in the first inning. But things turned around with 2 outs left in the 5th when junior Ian Miller crushed a double, bringing in 2 RBI, putting a total of 3 points on the board for the Lancers. Despite any struggles, the boys have one thing to say.
Go Lancers!
Reporting for News at Noon, I'm Katrina Kopronica.
As the season comes to an end for Bobcat basketball, things are just heating up on the baseball diamond. Ohio baseball earned its first series win of the 2019 season with a victory over Bowling Green. After losing the series opener 7-3 on Friday, the Bobcats bounced back with a 12-2 triumph on Saturday and broke the rubber match with a 12-4 victory yesterday. The Ohio Student Athlete Advisory Committee just wrapped up its 4th annual Mental Health Awareness Week. This year's focus was on self-harm and suicide prevention. Athletes showed their support by hosting tabling events, workshops, and were active on social media promoting awareness and education. The women's basketball team even wore orange shoelaces during its game at Toledo. Now, some Ohio Bobcat teams are struggling for success on a national stage, but that's not true for one club sport. News at Noon reporter Luke Steiner tells us about the wizardry that's leading to the victory of Ohio University Quidditch Club.
For News at Noon, I'm Luke Steiner.
The Quidditch Club is practicing 3 times a week to prepare to make a run for the U.S. Quidditch Cup Championship. Wondering how the game of Quidditch is played? Find out for yourself by heading to woub.org. And over in Columbus last night, the Blue Jackets suffered their second loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins this season, losing 5-2. Oliver Bjorkstrand and Cam Atkinson scored for the Blue Jackets, while Sergei Bobrovsky stopped 22 shots for the team. And moving out of college sports and on to the pros, the Cleveland Indians lost the final game of opening weekend against the Minnesota Twins with a final score of 9-3. The Twins opened up the scoring in the second inning after Williams Astudillo doubled to the left center. Leonis Martin lunged for the catch but came up short, giving the Twins their first run. Although Carlos Carrasco surrendered 6 runs on 10 hits, Carlos Santana ripped a bases-clearing double in the top of the 8th, putting all 3 runs on the board for the Indians and cutting the deficit to 5. Today, the Indians will take on the White Sox in Cleveland for the home opener. And with the start of spring training games, Bleacher Report has released its ranking of the top 50 MLB players, and the Cleveland Indians are here to represent. Well, Taylor, the Athens Bulldogs 7th and 8th grade baseball teams are headed to the sandlots, but both teams are first preparing in the gym. News at Noon reporter Jessica Costello put on her glove and cleats and joined the boys at practice to detail their upcoming season. You'll see that there is some rain coming in, which will bring thunderstorms tomorrow and a little more rain throughout the week.
Of course, I know we are all hoping that this wonderful weather continues for us. Katrina, can you tell us more about it?
Well, it's the second day of spring and the weather is certainly acting like it. Right now it's about 46 degrees, but because of the on and off showers we've been having today and the light wind at 2.4 miles per hour, it feels just a little cooler than that at 44 degrees. And as the night progresses into the early morning, we will see those showers turn into a consistent rain and 53 degrees. So we'll take it. You'll see that the sun actually rose 5 minutes earlier today than yesterday, and along with the 12-hour days, that means that summer is on its way. I promise.
Today is Earth Day, and local celebrations have been going on since last week. Good afternoon, I'm Noah Wolf.
And I'm Katrina Kopronica. Ohio University's Office of Sustainability focused its activities on raising awareness about its zero waste efforts.
News at Noon reporter Delaney Ruth joined in the fun celebration. Delaney, can you tell us what this event was all about?
An Ohio teen's Reddit post about vaccines went viral. Ethan Lindenberger posted on Reddit that his parents think vaccines are some kind of government scheme. He said he had never been vaccinated for anything until recently. On the Reddit post, Lindenberger called his parents kind of stupid for their opposition to vaccines. But he described their conversation about the decision as civil. A new bus route from Albany to Nelsonville will be tested out. The Post reports that 95% of the funding has been committed for the 6-month test. The program would cost about $86,000 and make 7 or 8 stops on the hourly route. Ohio's Department of Transportation is trying to get permission to apply changes in speed limits anytime based on conditions. The city was submerged in several feet of water, and one resident even reported 3 feet of water on his 2nd floor. A local business owner who suffered $20,000 in damages from last year's flooding says hopefully flooding like that happens only once every 20 to 25 years. And in Athens, the rain has slowed down, and I think it might even be stopping.
Maybe. Jesse, what can we expect the rest of the week?
Yeah, there's none of those in Athens. That would be cool, though. But you know what is in Athens? Flooding.
Flooding. It's been a problem, and hopefully it doesn't reach the levels it did last year on State Street, but you know, there's a chance it's going to be a little bit after midnight tonight. We'll see the peak, so we'll see what happens.
Will classes be canceled for the university students?
Hopefully. Probably.
Maybe. Probably not. Something. I don't think I've ever been to a wedding in a grocery store.
Never heard of it.
I don't think so. That's great. Well, guys, that's all for today's newscast. Tune in to Newswatch tonight at 6:30 for updates on your local and regional stories.
Sounds like a pretty eventful weekend in sports.
It sounds like the Indians didn't have an excellent Easter.
I guess they weren't shelling out enough home runs.
Oh, you guys are too much. Just too much.
Somebody doesn't like Easter puns.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks, Taylor. And thank you for tuning in to our first episode of News at Noon in depth this year.
For more on these stories, check the online versions at woub.org Media Lab tab.
And we'll be back on Friday, March 25th with an in-depth look at more stories impacting Southeast Ohio.